Hey everybody, and welcome back to Trekyards. I am Captain Foley.
I'm Lieutenant Samuel Kirk. Spoiler-filled, Stuart. Spoiler-filled, I can say that.
Yes, this is the spoiler-filled review. And
we now live in a post-Strange New world. So we live in a no longer strange new world, because now we know. Tune in for our full breakdown. There's a lot to talk about, 2 hours or more when that turns up. And of course watch our Picard content as well, and all the stuff for this episode. But Stuart, the fans are dying to know, what did you think? The Captain, TOS Foley, what do you think of Strange New Worlds Episode 1, Strange New Worlds?
I absolutely loved it. It felt like TOS again. It was a good story. It hit all the beats for me. It actually made me feel like somebody in the 60s would have felt watching Star Trek for the first time. It kind of reignited that in me. There was a lot of really good stuff in there. I gotta say the small little things like the tricorder display was bang on TOS accurate, and just the whole episodic feel. It's exactly like a story from TOS would have been, about mutual destruction and things like that. And I think they did a fantastic job with it. I'm looking forward to more. Sure, I'll have one or two little complaints here and there, but overall I really, really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to a lot more adventures. So that's my quick review. I'm just very, very pleased with what I saw in general.
And this is the first time. It's the first time we both watched it within second. Like we're super on the same path here, so we've had zero time to process. This is our processing. So ask me the question, Stuart.
How did you feel watching this?
Well, it is strange and new when you get to minute like 42 and there's nothing to complain about.
Yeah.
Like it's a weird feeling. You know what I mean? It's amazing how a breath of fresh air is just doing the first thing again. Because that, and obviously we just watched Picard as well, this benefited so drastically from a one strong, simple story, told nicely, with clearly thematic, larger vibes, and that benefited from having the 50-minute runtime, so that all worked well. Likeable characters, ensemble feel, everything looked better in motion. All the sets look better in motion, all the costumes better in motion, and like proper quality, because we could see them not in rubbish trailer quality. That helped, obviously. Because, you know, this stuff's inhabited by people, so that is part of the vibe. And, you know, good use of the LED wall, very, very, you could tell easily what's LED wall, what's not, but well used, better than Discovery Season 4, I think. And just, you know, I feel like the show should take a lesson from please tell one story as an A-plot. Like, that's important, because you look at other episodes of Picard, especially this last season, and you're thinking at the end, like, oh, that's what happened. Here, I was almost going to talk to you before this, in the few seconds we had, saying, like, it felt like it's been a long time since I've seen you. It's been 45 minutes, but so much happened, because there was a middle, a beginning and end, and, like, so much, it was so full, whereas in Picard recently it felt like nothing happened, even though it's the same amount of time. So big achievement there, and it felt expensive as well. Lots of sets, lots of places, lots of costumes, even though most of them were blank grey walls, that worked great, because they kept moving. Yeah, it hit a lot of the nails on the head.
It was a whole story, and it wasn't, well, what's next week? I mean, yes, just still excited for it's next week, but episodic storytelling is where Star Trek belongs, and I feel like, my friends, we've come home. I think the characters all of them were very likable, very fleshed out, and you can see where story beats are going to be going with the characters and stuff, and I think everything just worked. Everything was firing on all cylinders, and like I said, I definitely at one point when they walked into the transporter room and were beaming down with their faces altered and that whole explanation, I was like, this is how people in the 60s felt, because I just had a rekindling of, this is something new but yet recognizable for me. But in the 60s, that they're seeing this stuff for the first time. That's the vibe I got, and I never thought I'd have that with Star Trek. I've got it back now for this, and I really appreciate it, because it's like TOS, but there's enough familiar colors and things in the background, and just things going on that I just enjoyed every second of it. So yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Well, I mean, it is very much a reboot TOS, visually, artistically, pace, style, camera, visual effects, and it shows that if the JJ films had been more like this, you know what I mean? Like, this is much closer and yet still extremely sleek, extremely flash, extremely non-visual canon, but the colours work a lot better. Having those bright, vibrant seas really, really help. And the uniforms look fantastic in motion. Like, they did a really good... I mean, I obviously still miss the black collar. I think we'll still evolve into that personally. I think that'll be a thing we see in later seasons. No, it was neat, and it definitely had a much bigger ensemble feel. It kind of had sort of like a TNG TOS hybrid. Like, everyone was a distinct character. TOS, they're not so much. But still, they had there's still a hierarchy of importance per episode, right? So obviously Uhura got moments when they could, and they were nice, and they made you like her instantly, and same with Ortega. So there's that's how you do it, but they still obviously were focusing on Lana's introduction. Although, my God, what a Lara carbon copy, though. Even looking similar. Like, you really, really close with Lara. But Lara was fantastic. I have no problem with that. Well, I'm really surprised by two things, both positive in general, and I'll mention one by one and you can respond. One, and this made me grin eye to eye, that works, is that their transporters are a hybrid of the TOS and Cage sound effect, which sounded great. Didn't have to do that. Doesn't make necessary sense for the context of what we've seen in Discovery, but you know what? Override that. Much better.
Yes.
That was lovely.
Yeah. I agree. I noticed that as well. And that's, like I said, that moment, that scene is the one that made me have that feeling of, oh my God, this is how people would have seen this the first time, you know? So.
And the second thing, which I'm eager, because I called, like, you know, I said it yesterday when we did stories. Clearly, the Gorn are the villain of the season. I mean, mention a pad, mentioned heavily, like, clearly they're going to be the baddies, which I wanted more Gorn. So, wish fulfilled, and that, you know, the entire backstory of one of the main characters is a Gorn backstory. You can't get more full on than that.
And the Gorn nursery, so we assume that little alien we saw was a Gorn. We actually said that before.
I told you, baby Gorn.
So, yeah.
They want their own Baby Yoda but with teeth. It's probably a bit too full on. Like, the Gorn clearly are a thing everyone knows about. Can take a little bit too much probably to TOS, but they're also grey enough that I'm okay with it, because I'd rather have that I'd rather have that, you know, full onness. But they just can't really fight them because I don't know what they look like. So they've still got to do the Romulan route of we can't see them, which still does not diminish stories. You just can't see them.
Oh, I think they will break that though. But that's
well, they did it all right here. So
yeah.
Well, she said knows what it like. I mean, she must know what it like if they slit and eat and birthing bodies grow horrible.
Birthing sacks. Yeah. The thing is, when the ship got attacked from the planet by plasma torpedoes, I thought that was interesting because in Starfleet battles, Gorn used plasma torpedoes because one of their biggest adversaries is the Romulans. I thought either that a Borg ship had crashed on the planet and that's where they got the tech, or I thought there might be some kind of Romulan involvement there when I heard plasma torpedoes, but the plasma torpedoes weren't really explained. Honestly, that's the one of the little things I had.
Well,
issue was,
Stuart, they were just torpedoes that had plasma in them. They weren't definitionally what we would consider a plasma torpedo, but they were just a torpedo with plasma in, which rather than matter-antimatter. And that, you know, the main plot though, I've never seen, and they've even said they've never seen a race use the tech for non-exploration, which is quite a sweet thing to say. But we've never seen that, so they managed to create a different, but still definitionally they've still developed the technology enough to kind of get away with first contacting again, and Archer. We got Saladin, although the hole in the pylon looked a little that looked daft. It looked super stupid, but yay, Archer Saladin class.
Yes, yeah. When I saw that, like, that was one of the first things I saw. And
That's one of the things everyone saw.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
But a very nice retool of that story, and obviously all rule breaking. But the way Pike does it is so sincere, which helps a ton. It isn't the Michael Burnham style of just do stuff for the sake of it. You know he's doing it for all the right reasons and all the right vibes, with the weight of command as well. Like, he will take whatever punishment will come to him with a smile, because he'll think he's done the right thing. That's not how other characters treat those things. So you're with him on it rather than thinking he's rule breaking, which is hard to do. That really is hard to do.
And while he was doing that, I had very much Kirk from TOS vibe. I could see Kirk doing the exact same speech in the exact same way, for the exact same reasons. So yes, it felt like we're back. Speaking of Kirk,
Mm-hmm.
one of the first things Spock says to him is, "We got Lieutenant Kirk aboard, as you requested." It's like, oh, seriously? I was kind of annoyed, and then he's mentioned again, and then all of a sudden it's Samuel Kirk, which is awesome because great first name.
There's very few characters in anything called Samuel, so I was obviously happy.
But we're going to learn more about him. Spoilers, guys. He dies in TOS. But anyway.
Damn, Stuart. Spoiler. 55-year-old spoiler. Jesus.
Yeah, I know, right? So that'll be interesting. So there's a Kirk, and that would probably lead into when we see James T. Kirk in season 2. He's going to see his brother for some reason be aboard another ship, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Could be that Sam Kirk goes to visit Kirk on his ship, so the Kirk and Spock don't actually meet, or whatever. I don't know. Or that Pike never meets him. It may fix that canon issue. So,
yeah, I instantly knew that was going to be his brother. I just thematically,
I didn't.
That's
that
the trick.
Surprise for me. That was a surprise for me at the end. So
no, I thought that was what you would do to win while not making people annoyed. I thought that was great. And in fact, just Memory Alfred, boy, similar looking actor. That was although well, it was Shatner, but very similar look. They did a really good job there. The moustache, that's on point. That is, that's right there with quality. I never vibed to in Starfleet personally.
Neither did I.
So that was
I
odd.
thought he was a scientist. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm not too. I mean, it's nice to see him in uniform, and certainly that's fun. I take it. It's a really nice reason to have whatever, and it might help Spock know more deeply who James T is, because he'll have learned family story from George Samuel, go by Samuel. Yeah, it's clever. And obviously knows Pike, so Pike knew 2 Kirks, which is fun. There's good stuff there. And also like how, a brief note and a jump on your thing, I like how Spock was wrong early on with the shields. That was nice. He's not infallible yet. He's young. Sorry, small detail. Sorry, you gonna say?
I had 2 issues with the ship.
Which ship? We actually got a few.
the Enterprise. I actually really like the Enterprise design. I always have, despite what some people
It's just the tech string ship. Improve that, you got a golden ship. It's just a tech string.
Pike, had rather spacious quarters for... I liked in TOS where the captain's quarters were the same size as pretty much everybody else's, because there's limited space on a ship like that. And he doesn't put him above anybody really necessarily.
He's got a bar in his.
Yeah, he's got a very spacious set of quarters, first of all. And then that second door in the bridge is actually the door to the ready room, which is going to be interesting to see how that gets explained away.
It won't be. No, it won't be.
Anyway,
of course it won't be. This is a visual reboot. It won't be.
2 small little things. I'm glad it's not a turbo lift, obviously, on that side of the bridge. The ready room makes a little bit more sense, but there should never have been a ready room.
Well, there isn't space
Other than that, I mean, I didn't have much issues with the ship. Like I said, like you said, in seeing it in higher quality, everything felt good in motion, and the colors just being behind these characters worked so well. That turbo lift scene I saw in Chicago, and the turbo lift, I love the look of that. So, yeah.
The full wall. I mean, a little bit excessive to have an entire wall of it, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. It's fine. I would probably cut off just a little bit at the top and bottom, just make it a bit more condensed, but I'm fine with it. Yeah, the bridge. The only thing, except it being obviously different, is that every time we see Ortega's, there's a big light behind her head, and it's like that's clear. That's distracting. It's the lens flare effect for zero reason. Those lights shouldn't be there. But the middle lights don't quite distract as much as you'd think. So that's good. So that was really just the only thing with that stuff. But like I said, in motion it works. So you've got to turn your brain off for it being TOS canon, but you can because the characters are bringing you in. That's what's good. Although I think the only thing that really annoyed me properly is that they called the communicator a phone early on in the first scene. Because it's not a phone.
It was sitting right beside the phone. I think that was a joke. I think that was like your phone.
Well, she didn't say it like it. Yeah,
that's what I got out of it, because there's the antique phone behind. She knows that he's into antiques, so I have no problem with that.
It's just 99% of people wouldn't ever say that in that era. If they're a phone, it's not a phone.
She knows him. She knows he obviously likes old things.
Yeah, I'm glad April then said communicate later. But yeah, okay, I'll give you that. But it feels like a meh sort of
It was
moment.
just a little in joke. It was fine. I think it would
Okay.
fit perfectly.
Well, I love the fact
I
they
gotta
had
disagree with you
I
there.
love they had a girlfriend though. That was sweet. Or well, a hookup really, but that was quite nice.
Another captain. Yeah.
I thought it was. I mean, looked like number one for a minute. I mean, just because long-haired brunette, that's fine. But I liked the vibe there. It was genuine. It didn't feel like it was weird. It was just like, yeah, we need companionship, and there isn't chain of command here. We can appreciate each other. So that was nice. And considering, and I get that also might be a gentle reference to Pike in Cage being, the 60s of it, women on the bridge, and now he's dating a woman captain. That's a nice way of saying, we're definitely past that because there's a captain literally in the first scene is a lady.
And even the Spock and to
yes, that was bold.
It didn't bother me at all. It was actually a very good scene. Really loved her character. And is it just me, or did she give him a tracking device? Is that like the exact same kind of thing that Spock gave Uhura in Beyond? I think it was very similar
Vulcan
in design.
tradition.
Yeah, well, it is. It is.
A Vulcan stalker tradition.
Yeah. So
Since the time of Surak, we track our loved ones.
Of tradition.
I hadn't considered that. I like that. That's funny. I love the LED wall. That was beautiful. Really was nice to see. Although you can see the seams, it's not subtle. It's really obvious, but it works, so it's fine. It was nice. It was obviously he's not married in TOS, so that's an interesting story. It's rocking the boat with the intention to pick up the pieces, but they had a genuine connection, which was interesting. So it was the acting that really sold that. We didn't want to see a shirtless, sex-positive Spock necessarily, but it was played very much cultural and the Adventure of the Fears. Like it was very carefully played, but not in a way of tiptoeing either. So an achievement.
And you even get that first glimpse of Chapel kind of eyeing Spock when she sees him for the first time. So,
and they said she was a civilian. Like they sort of covered some bases there. They had cake and they eat a small piece of it. And I liked how in the first scene Pike doesn't communicate. Like there's the active don't look at it, and then Spock just takes it straight away, showing the difference in command style and there's also little nice moments that shouldn't necessarily work, but they do work. They threw a lot of dice and they mostly landed right, which is an achievement. And also, how much better than any episode of Discovery? I mean,
1,000 times.
There's not a single episode of Discovery that would even be comparable to this in terms of quality, which is sad for Discovery. But I mean, there's chasm, instant quality chasm.
Well, people have been concerned about Akiva Goldsman, and I've been one included. I think
his record is speaks for itself. It's a good reason to be.
It does, but I think he might have been focused a lot more on Strange New Worlds than Picard, honestly, because you can just.
Thoughts and put in.
Like I said, if Picard would have been whittled down to 2 or 3 episodes, it would have been great for that story. But it was stretched too long, and I think that's the problem. That's why I said it feels like we've come home, because this episodic storytelling is, boom, it felt like a story. It was done. It's awesome. Moving on. And they might cause a problem later, that planet that just joined the Federation, and them have to go back there. I have no issues with that, So.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I agree. It felt very sleek and refined, and that's not what Picard is. And also, it didn't feel its pandemic limitations either. Standing sets help. Spaceships help. Closed sets. They had very few exteriors, but they were there and appropriate. They moved, it did not feel... Well, it felt... Okay, there's one thing I will say, though, is that Picard Season 1 and 2 were very good. And then when he felt real in Episode 1. So we've got that instant parallel. They're both matched in quality, but that thing fell down the stairs and hit his head, right? Only to get up at the end. This might be the same. So we cannot talk about the rest of the season, but
we gotta go in optimistic.
But that's Picard as well. So in fairness to the show, we also got tricked by Picard Season 2. That had the most, So I'm not saying this will, but we also said really good things, and it turned out to be not right. As the money dries up, because it felt like an expensive episode, but you spend the most early on, so that might then feel limited later on. I don't necessarily know it will. Standing sets, no problem. And I'll also give them another bit of credit, which is good for them, is that unlike Picard, which again is weird, the same people writing, some writers, they handled, I think, the political satire and commentary much better, because it was still saying what we did, but in an appropriate way that worked. And certainly the effects they created for the World War 3, wow, they didn't go 2 or 1, they went for the future. New effects were great and harrowing. I felt affected by we've never seen that ever. So I was like, that is an effective thing that is not, the W word. That was just a proper 60s gene appropriate version with the effects budget to show it. What do you think about that? Because it is the harrowing bit of the episode.
No, I totally agree. It definitely spoke to... Although that was projected planet-wide, because, I mean, we need to see something like that. We need a starship coming in and being like, look, guys, this is kind of what, could happen to you. So it was really impactful. And yeah, those effects of World War III footage were pretty amazing, actually. So yeah, a lot of kudos for this episode. There's so much good stuff to say. There's one or two small little things, like I said, nitpicky things, but
we'll have to dissect them to find it, which is obviously
when we do the breakdown, there'll be one or two things that I want to point out. But other than that, I mean, as a cohesive piece, it felt
remarkably cohesive on a level that we haven't really seen for a long time. Yeah. Wow. It's good stuff.
Yeah. I guess I don't have anything else to say about it really right now, but it was good.
Go watch it.
So, yeah. And join us for a live when we do that. We'll do a complete breakdown like we do with all new Trek. And this will be fun to do because every week we're going to have new planets and new alien species names to remember and talk about. So, but yeah. So comment down below what you thought about this. How did it make you feel?
How did you feel? How did you feel? I think we feel fine, Stuart. We feel fine.
But you understand the question, so please answer it down below. Hit like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any content from us. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of breakdown videos and lots of cool stuff from us because we really enjoy this kind of thing. And we're looking forward to having you join us on the lives as well. So make sure you hit that notification bell icon so you don't miss any of those things. We love interacting with you guys one-on-one.
But you can also support us directly. We wanted this content for you for free. So anyone that can donate is how we continue doing the show, the channel, and all things called Trekyards. So support by Patreon, monthly, PayPal, one-time at trekyards@hotmail.com, or buying shirts, memorabilia down below, or super chatting via the lives. We love those as well. Or join via the same YouTube-ness. But super chats are great because it means you're there, in a live, discussing, theorizing, communicating, and having fun with us.
That's right. So until next time, he is Lieutenant Kirk. Lieutenant Samuel.
I have to grow the moustache for one of these episodes. Yes. Or I was get a fake one because I can't grow it that luscious. He's Captain Foley.
There you go. I was waiting. You're not going to get that promotion anytime soon, Lieutenant, because you just missed your beat there. Anyway, so we'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.
Bye, guys.